different things. And we just had one of our churches, well, it was a Baptist church in West Virginia, that just had a horrible incident last week with some people that came into it. And one of the women that came to the church, and if you would know anything about the gypsy clans, well, she was out of one of the gypsy clans, and when they come to your church, and if you realize that you don't touch the women, you don't pray for them, you don't mess with them, and the pastor really didn't know what was going on, he laid hands on this woman and prayed for her. Well, they came into the church the next Sunday, and it just turned out into an uproar of warfare. So we've been dealing with that, and we've been watching, and I know you've seen how many churches that people are coming into and attacking. And one of the things that they've asked us, and I like to share with the congregation, is that you don't put offerings and things up anymore, because people will come in and watch the boards, and then they'll come in mass numbers and rob the churches. And the security in churches that are being developed has to be done. The Methodist Church has an active shooter program that they're doing for the churches. You know, you can't hardly believe that you'd ever have to do something like this. Right. You would not imagine that this would happen in Austinville a month ago. A bad situation happened in a church in Austinville, same situation. Man came in, created a havoc and threatening to kill people, and they had to take him out. Then he ran out and got him in the middle of his car. The door was locked, and it just turned into a mess. And you will say, but see, then you have to call the police, and they show up, and the whole thing just looks bad. It's a bad looking situation. But if people come into your church, you don't know them. You have to treat them with love and compassion, but you also have to understand that you have to have things in place and understanding that you know that you kind of protect each person now. Because, you know, we're entering into a time where we're closer to the end. Satan knows his time is wrapping up. And he just like the guy that, you know, he'll come in and live in your house and then end up doing everything. You know, you drive the car, using your checkbook and everything. You can't get rid of it. And that's the way the thing is as the time gets closer. So, and we're doing a number of things this year. We're going to ask about, like Bridget with the youth, what do you need? We want to write a vision down for the church. The Bible says without a vision, the people will perish. But we want to write a vision down. I know now we're working with Mr. Huthingham and working on our sign out front and worker project for the sign to be done and then the digital part to be put in so we can put some messages on the sign. And God's already blessed us with a love offering to take care of it. And Brother Roger's looking at that and he's got to come up with the money, so I ain't got to worry. I'll throw that on Brother Roger. Brother Roger, that's your problem, come up with the money. Well, our problem is let's get it done. So you see what we're talking about. We want to do that. And we want to be progressive in the neighborhood. Churches are not designed, they're storehouses to help people, but they're not designed like I've been in some of them that had massive amounts of money lined up in the bank. I mean, all these CDs, guess what happened? You stand before God and God said, listen, you didn't feed me when I was hungry, you didn't clothe me. I don't even know who you people are. Yeah. So we all want to be progressive, doing things in the community and doing things that show people that we are the church of Jesus Christ. That's a good idea. Yeah. Like for the youth, we've got youth. I mean, you wouldn't believe how many churches are crying to have young people in. We got young people. Some weeks we got this number and then it doubles. So we always want to have something for those youth. And ask Sister Bridget, what's your vision for the youth? What do you need? And see, that's what we want to do. We want to be committed to excellence. Now, it doesn't mean that we're a small church, and it doesn't mean that we can do everything overnight. I mean, if people come and they want everything put perfectly in place, they probably need to find somewhere where everything's perfectly in place. Yeah. Because it's going to take us a while to get all these things in place, but we're striving and working to get there. Don't y'all agree? Yeah. And that's what it takes for a small church that's trying to get these things done. One of the things I want to do is teach on communion, because I want to teach on some of the real deep aspects of communion. I love the fact that it's called the meal that heals. So communion is a healing meal. And there's questions about who takes it and who doesn't take it. Should children have it and shouldn't children have it? And I've been through all of that, and I always say, well, listen, I want to bring those children up and have them on a foundation of doing things and learning things of God. Because I've had churches where they say, well, they can't take it, and I've had churches where they say they can take it. But I'll always say, no, we're going to include those children. Because I want them to establish a foundation, train up a child, the Bible says, in the way they should go. And if they depart, if they leave it, guess what happens? They'll come back again because it's implanted in them, and they'll say, I remember when. And I've had a lot of children that we've dealt with that's with the prison, different things, and guess what keeps them going when they're in prison and jail? That one little anchor that they learned in Sunday school or in church when they were young. Isn't that an amazing thing? Yeah. And it keeps them going. We just have a young man, and if you look in the paper, he was just in the paper. His parents are friends of ours. This young man's like me and Janet's own son, but he was a state trooper, got himself over into some mess, and we've been praying diligently that he would not go to prison, because when these children go into that and go into deep cover, they get on these drugs because they're living with drug addicts to catch them. But we pray for those kind of young men, and we don't throw them away. But you know what the thing that's kept him going? He came by to see Janet at Wendy's, and Janet got the chance to talk to him and tell him, you just go and hang on to what the Lord taught you when you were young. If you hang on to that anchor and remember what God has taught you, God will bring you through. And what seems like a lot of prison time, it turned into just now some training he's going to go through, some counseling he's going to go through, and if he keeps himself clean and in good shape, guess what? No prison time. Amen. That's what we wanted. Yeah. So this morning, we pray for Pat has to go, and we pray for her. And then we want to pray for this young Braden Vaughn, who has an effect. He has mercy. And I know my brother had it. That's a tough stuff. And this is somebody that works with Aileen, Steve Ingo. And Steve walks like this all the time. Can't put his neck up. So remember him in prayer, and a number of other people, and remember Trenton's home. Got to go have some more tests, but he's home, so that's the main thing. Amen. And Arthur's coming along, isn't he? We went to see him last week. Had me feel that Arthur's doing good. I was kind of shocked. I figured I'd go out there and be right to the moon and go on. Was it good, Papa? Yeah. Nobody done nothing to you. I don't think nothing's been done in your way. You were too good a shape, you both too good. And then a good report that Roy Ellis is up, walking up down the halls. Barbara Ann told me that he was in the kitchen cooking. So we're going to Bible see him this week and spend some time with him. Isn't that good news? Amen. So just keep praying. So I am the true vine. Isn't that an amazing statement? And listen what he says. And this is John 5:15-1. And Jesus made this statement. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. Jesus is, listen to this, God. Jesus is God. He's the Son of God. He's the Alpha and Omega. He's the Messiah. And Jesus says, guess what I am? I am the true vine. In him, listen, are completeness and everything the believer can hope for. In Jesus. Including forgiveness of my sins. Oh, I could be a rotten scoundrel. I could be as low as you could get. I could be terrible. I had a guy come up and say, oh, he could help me, Harry, if I'm the worst sinner. I said, honey, Paul's already got that. Because he said, I am chief among sinners. So if Paul could be forgiven, you can be forgiven. Yeah. Amen. Fulfillment of all promises. And listen to this. And the greatest thing about us is everlasting life. We lost our neighbor this week. Buford Bailey, our neighbor, wonderful neighbor, had a massive heart attack and died. And you know, Buford, and they told me, guess what Linda said? That Sunday night, Buford was at church and had the most wonderful blessing from the Lord. Said that service, he got so blessed by God, and he was so praising God, and then the next day, guess what? Gone fast. But that's what it's all about, just being able to. But he has everlasting life. Just because he's taken, his breath is gone on this world, guess what? He simply stepped from mortality into immortality. From what can seen and to the unseen. Isn't that good? I mean, we were in Abraham's bosom. Remember? The rich man and Lazarus? Lazarus went into Abraham's bosom. Rich man went over into hell. You don't need anybody rich goes to hell. I hope not, because all y'all are rich, but all standing to the way. Now the Russians come over here and say, these Americans are supposed to be poor, got flat free TV and cell phones. They got more than our rich people. But see what I mean? That's what he's saying. And there are many vines today. Now listen, y'all know Islam is a vine. Hinduism is a vine. Buddhism is a vine. There's a lot of vines. There's a lot of different vines, and this is what Jesus said. There's a lot of vines. But Jesus said, but in all those vines that y'all looking at, I am the true vine. Yeah. And all of them. And we don't get this. We don't mess them up. They get a very bad misconception of the founding fathers of the nation. They think that they were saying, you bring us all your different religions and everybody can just worship who they want to. But guess what they were saying? When you come to America and see God Jehovah, our God, and see how blessed we are because of our God, then you will leave your God because you see that the blessings that, just like Nebuchadnezzar, your God is God. Isn't that amazing? What do we do? Oh Lord, we come up with our own thing. God, you ain't welcome nowhere anyway. Just leave us alone. We can take care of it. Well, boy, didn't we take care of it. Now listen to this in 1 Kings 18 and 20. And I love this story. So Ahab summoned all the people of Israel and the prophets to Mount Carmel. And listen what happened. Elijah the prophet shows up. And he stood in front of them and said, how much longer will you waver, hobbling between two opinions? And I love Elijah. And Elijah said, how long are y'all going to stand around here? Act like that you for God, but you for Baal also. He said, but today we're going to do something different. You all are going to make a decision, children of Israel, people of God. You're going to make a decision whom you're going to serve. And that's what he says. He said, if the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal is God, follow him. And this is what the people did. The people completely kept silent. Boy, they were good to keep our mouths shut. So Ahab summoned all the people of Israel and the prophets to Mount Carmel, and Elijah stood in front of them and said, and Elijah said to them, I am the only prophet of the Lord who is left, but Baal has 450 prophets. Now bring 2 bulls, the prophets of Baal may choose whatever one they wish to cut into pieces, and lay it on the wood of the altar, but without setting fire to it. And I will prepare the other bull and lay it on the wood on the altar, but not set fire to it. And what the prophet Elijah said, we're going to do this thing further. Y'all get y'all for the altar, put y'all stuff on it to y'all's God, and we're going to take mine and do it, and I'm going to set it over here. Because it ain't nothing but poor old me. It's 450 of y'all to pray to y'all's God, but it ain't nothing but one of me. All I can do is just what I can do. Can y'all see it? Yes. Oh, it's me. Nobody else. Just me. It's 450 of y'all. So I know y'all can pray, and y'all God's going to answer 450 of you. And I'll just see what I can do with my God. Maybe he will, and maybe he won't. I can see Elijah now, he's setting them up. And what he told them is, then call on the name of your God, and then I'll call on the name of my God. And the God who answers by setting fire to the wood is the true God. And the people said, yes, we can understand that. Whoever sets fire on it, wherever the fire falls, that's going to be our true God. And we won't hobble between these two opinions. We'll know who God is. Yeah. I don't understand how they didn't know who God was anyway. They had forgotten who God was. Do y'all see that? How easy is it to forget who God is? See, we forget sometimes. See, we are blessed. We got, if we need some socks, we go to Walmart. Well, if you need groceries, you go to Walmart. If you need anything else, you go to Walmart. But if you want other stuff, you go to Food Mart. If you're sick, you go to the doctor. If you got a headache, you go get you some Tylenol. And I get you the Tylenol pills. Them babies will make you sleep some kind. Even though they'll put you in trouble for taking it. They'll mix you up. But y'all see that? So we have everything made. We can go to Wendy's, pull up there and drive through. Yes, ma'am, you want 2 double cheeseburgers, 2 large fries, and give me 2 Diet Cokes. I got the calories for me for cheeseburgers. And you pull up to the window 40 seconds later, Jack, Sister Jenny hands you a bag out the window. Well, you can't do that. You ain't going to go hamburger home. It's for 2 hours on the grill. And then ask me anything else you want. You got another 45 seconds left on this clock. I ain't give you 2 frosties in the meantime. Do y'all see that? But we get used to that. Everything like that. And this is what he did. Elijah did that. He said, okay, so what we're doing, y'all call on the Lord, y'all's God, Baal, and I'll call on mine, 450 on me. Y'all imagine it? 450 of them starting to scream to Baal. And all the people said yes. Then Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, y'all go first. But I love it. You like people to go first. So if they mess up, we're in a meeting at work, I always tell them, oh, no, y'all go first. So if they mess up, you know what? So you don't look bad. Because you see the look on everybody's faces when they say something wrong, and you still say, well, I ain't gonna say that. And that's what he did. Y'all go first. He said, y'all go first. And they said, all right, we'll go first. And this is what they said. For there are many of you, choose one of the bulls and prepare, and call on the name of your God, but do not set fire to it. We'll see if your God. Then Elijah said to them, listen, so they prepared one of the bulls and placed it on the altar, and they called on the name of Baal. Listen, from morning until noontime. Lord, I couldn't do that. So from probably 7:08 in the morning to lunchtime, they screamed and cried, falling on the ground. Listen what the Bible says they did. Shouting, O Baal, answer us. But there was no reply of any kind. Then they danced, hobbling around the altar they had made. About noontime, Elijah began mocking them. And this is what I love. Elijah said, maybe you have to shout a little louder. He scoffed, for surely he is a god. Perhaps he is daydreaming, or is relieving himself. Or maybe he is away on a trip, or is asleep and needs to be awakened. See, and this is where the Islam gets a complete. Now they love Old Testament Abraham because that's their father. Because Ishmael, the son, is where they come from. But the part that they don't understand, the part that they get messed up on, you can't work yourself into this. And they believe in works. If I work myself, if I do these certain things, that's why you can say to a, now you say that to a Christian. I tell Sister Cindy, just strap a bum to yourself and walk into the store. And you going to heaven, so sit there, oh. I don't believe that much about it. But the reason why they believe that is because it's all based on works. So if I work my way, I can pray 5 times a day, I can do all these things, and I can work my way into heaven. But you cannot work your way into heaven. So that even in Old Testament you could. And Allah, the word that is used nowhere is that mentioned Greek or Hebrew. There's no such word as Allah. It was made up by Muhammad, who got upset because of the disciples, and he saw the statues in Mecca, and he went in there and complained about it, and they threw him out, and 20-some years he came back with an army and killed everybody. It was a religion based on warfare, scheming, lying, and cheating, where everybody, women are treated like animals, and that's where that comes from. And it's from Ishmael because of the jealousy, because I was here 13 years and you took Isaac, and Isaac was the favorite son. Well, I was here 13 years before him. But that was Abraham and Sarah's mess with Hagar. That wasn't what God told Abraham to do. So whenever you try to fix something yourself, and the instruction, many churches that I know have failed because guess what? They try to do something fast that God says take your time. You do it. Do this right. But then they go in debt and here's $7,000 mortgage payment a month, and that's a lot of payment to make. And it's tough to push people to make a $7,000 mortgage payment every month on a new church that God didn't tell you to build. Build it now, come, don't work. I've been through it several times. So here's what he did. About noontime, it said, and then he said, so they shouted louder and followed their normal custom. This is what their custom was. And we have this now. In Hinduism, they cut themselves with knives and swords until the blood gushed out. They waited all afternoon until the time of the evening sacrifice, but there was no sound, no reply, and no response. Then Elijah called to the people, come over here. And they all crowded around him as he repaired the altar of the Lord that had been torn down. He took 12 stones, one to represent each one of the tribes of Israel, and then he used the stones to rebuild the altar in the name of the Lord. Then he dug a trench around the altar large enough to hold about 3 gallons of water. He piled wood on the altar, cut the bull into pieces, Jesus and laid the pieces of the bull on the wood. Now listen to this. He then said, I want y'all to fill 4 large jars of water and pour the water over the offering and on the wood. And you know that wood don't burn, does it? No. So Elijah's going a little step further. He said, what I want you to do is fill these jars, and I want you to take it to the altar and pour this water on the altar, and you soak everything wet. And they had done this. He said, do the same thing again. So the second time he says, I want you to pour the water on it again. Again, they were finished. He said, now do it a third time. So they did as he said, and the water ran around the altar, and guess what the water did? It was so much water that it ran off the altar and filled the whole trench around the altar. And after he had done this, he said that, and at the usual time for offering, the evening sacrifice, Elijah the prophet walked up to the altar and prayed, O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, prove today that you are God in Israel and that I am your servant. Prove that I have done all this at your command. O Lord, answer me so these people will know you are, O Lord, our God, and that you have brought them back to yourself. Now this is what happened. Immediately, the fire of the Lord flashed down from heaven and burned up the young bull, the wood and the stones and the dust, and even licked up all the water in the trench. And when the people saw it, they fell on their face down on the ground and cried out, and the Lord had said, He is God. Yes, He is God. Yes, He is God. Yeah. So after they saw that demonstration by God in the midst of it, and guess what, people? I'm telling you right now, we are in a generation, and I'm telling you, you are going to see some demonstrations start happening from God. Oh, it's already happening over in Europe. It's already happening in Brazil and in African places. You're going to see some moves of God, some demonstrations from the Lord. We was watching, what was it, one of the news things yesterday, and they last week, and they told on the news about a girl that had a massive brain tumor. Did y'all see any of you see that? And the brain tumor was gone. So this is starting to come out. You're starting to hear this more and more because people can't deny. Sam, whose mama worked with me, Sam was the chief trauma surgeon for Boston General Hospital. Said a pastor checked into the hospital at about 8 o'clock in the evening, and they had him on ventilators and everything because he was dying. And they told the family he was dying. And said the whole church, and Sam told me this face to face, the whole church came into the hospital and were in a room and they were praying. He said, 4 o'clock in the morning, Sam said the doors of the hospital, and this was at UVA, blew open, and a wind came into the hospital. Said it blew everything off the walls. Said it was a wind so hard that visibly you seen the wind coming, and it went down that hall, and at 7:30 that morning, that pastor walked out of the hospital with his wife and with his church. All right, healed by the Lord. You're seeing that move of God in this last day, and that's what happened with Elijah. God just came down and burned up everything and licked up the water. And you heard the people saying, God is God, God is God, and God is God. And I love that. And it says, and this is what it says, and then we're going to go on here, and I got to read this. So there are many vines in the world today. And the Bible goes on and says in the next verse that God cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit. Now here's where you start messing with people and people get very mad. While every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes that it will be more faithful or more fruitful. So this is talking about you, us. We're like branches. And every branch that does more, I mean, if you say something about God, if you just tell somebody about the Lord looked at that and said, and listen, Satan walks where he's going. But the Bible says the eyes of the Lord run. So if you're running, you're going to be there a whole lot faster than somebody that's walking. And God's looking at you and you're telling people, you know, and all you got to say, this is it. And I love for people to say, you know, God's been good to us. God's been good. Oh, when we was down there talking to Cindy about Trenton. She talked about how good about God, and all we can do is pray, and we can stay with God. And that's what God looks at that. He looks at that in your life, and he says, oh, wait a minute, I need to bring that back a little bit. So they can bring forth more fruit, because they're going to tell somebody about that. But guess what? If you know me, guess what? What do they call arborists? And I like an arborist. They're people that take care of trees. And guess what an arborist does? And this is what God does. First thing God's going to do is access the tree. He's going to look at you. Why are you doing that, Sister Grubb? You doing that for your glory, or you doing that for my glory? That's what God does, is accesses the tree. Let me see what the tree looks like, Brother Bob. See what you look like. Next thing he does, he identifies the major branches of the tree that make up the skeleton. Who's strong and dependable? That's what God looks at. Of course, the strongest people. I look at a church of the strongest people. God says, who's strong and dependable? They'll be there. And you know, it's tough with all that's going on to be in the house of God, to come to the house of God, to make a commitment to God. The Bible says, do not forsake the assembling of yourself in the manner of some. Well, who's the son? The son that will stay home today. But even more so, as you say, the day of the Lord approaches, you need to be in the house of the Lord. So look at it. It says that if you're strong and dependable, God looks at that. Or about your life. What are they going to do? Do they pray? Not that you're perfect. But do they get up in the morning and say, thank you, God, for this. Help me today. Establish my day. Establish my going. Not that you walk in this perfected line because you can't do it. We're going to mess up. I mess up. Everybody messes up. He removed the branches, listen to this, that show signs of damage first. Uh-oh. You cannot serve two masters. And you can't. You can't serve, because you're going to, what does the Bible say? If you serve two masters, you're going to love one and hate the other, ain't you? You can't serve God and money or God in the world. You can't do it. It doesn't work that way. And God is saying that's what he does. If you're damaged goods, that's what God looks at. He says, well, they're not going to destroy you. He's going to try to restore you. But the problem that we got is, and you know this, when we are damaged, instead of us running to God, why do we run away from God? Have you ever seen that? So I'm damaged. I know something's going on in my life. I know something went wrong, but I run from God, from church. If I'm damaged, I want to be in church. Y'all know that? We don't care what you're doing. We don't care how you mess it up. Honey, you need to be sitting and listen to the Word of God. Because only the Word is going to set you free and make you new, and it's going to break the yoke on you, and you'll be able to walk as one victorious. Even in the midst of your problem, you can walk because you believe that God is, and that God is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. Yes. Do y'all see that? Yes. Don't stay away from God. Run to God. I've had people tell me, well, you know, oh, and I've had them tell me, you know, I don't have no clothes. So you got clothes on that? Well, I don't have church clothes. What's church clothes? Why are you blue jeans, your t-shirt? What do we care? Don't come in there with your belly thing buttoned down to here, your hair sticking out your chest and a bunch of gold chains on. We might ask you, what, brother, if we can take you back. So you got to get that fixed, brother. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? You don't have to dress no way for church. What? Oh, it's Old Testament. Oh, I don't even get into that. That's dominion, domination, and control over your life. Just come like you are. That's why they hated Jesus. Because Jesus said, oh, you sitting in over here, that God said, you must be Beelzebub. You a wine bibber and a drunkard, just like they are. And honey, Jesus sat right among them and got them saved and got the world in a revival, and it went around the world, and to this day, 2,000 and some years later, Jesus' name is still being proclaimed. Yeah. Because Jesus went through a nobody and turned them into somebody. Did y'all see that? Honey, you can't write yourself up, make yourself good enough to get there. You can't dress yourself right. Honey, you strip off everything you got and still be the biggest devil in the church. Honey, this thing is right here in your heart. And if your heart is right, God will honor that. Yeah. The next thing the Lord does, He bends out areas that are thick with branches. Oh, have you ever known in churches? There comes cleats. Oh, yes.
a group of 12. And they caused more trouble than 5